Well, it's day 2 and we are taking measurements. So we need to decide exactly what the right distance would be for, like, to maximize the space for shelving. I think I laid out in my mind the way I'd like to see it, and now I just need to describe it to Todd. So in figuring out like distance for shelves, he's gonna have this that creates stabilization on the shelves.
So it's like 8.5, so make it 9.
Okay. 9 inches for my quart jars. Pints.
7.
7 inches. Hold on. How much you want to bet this is 5?
6.
Oh, dang. And then I've got these. Not a lot of them, but I'm sure as I grow my extended pantry, I'll have more.
12.
12 inches. And then the last thing that I want to make room for are large things like our, what do you call these things?
Carboy.
Our carboys and like my Crocs. So things I want to have at least one 4-foot section big enough for that. So that gives me my thoughts on at least maximizing space. I think I want just the top shelf to be all pints all the way down. The next 2 shelves, if it makes sense, I need to see how it's laid out. 2 shelves worth of pints, the rest worth of quarts, 1 small space for these, maybe like right above where you do this one. We'll have the larger jars. I think it's going to be a lot of wood.
Yeah, that's basically what I want to get done today. Is I want to go buy the back pieces to cover this wall so the dust doesn't get in. Mm-hmm. And I want to buy all the 2x4s that I need. And a lot of them are going to get ripped down in half.
Yeah, sound like a plan.
Got it?
See, okay, let's just do this. How many trips to Lowe's is this project going to take? We've counted 2 so far, so we'll see.
I'm going to do it in 2.
2? You heard that, guys.
Well, we're back from the hardware store. We got 24
24
8-foot 2x4s and 3 sheets of, like, I don't know, it's pretty thin, like plywood that we're going to use as a backing, because whatever spackling, what's that stuff called?
I have no idea. Asbestos?
Asbestos. It's not asbestos. Whatever kind of like plaster material they put over our walls is just crumbling. Yeah. And it's just going to fall on our jar. So we're going to put some backing up there. Oh, we got a couple pieces of treated wood we're going to use for the bottom, so it all kind of sits on something that's not going to rot. So this is our back piece that we're going to put against the wall. And I'm just attaching the very first vertical piece that's going to go from there down to here to that panel to hold it in place.
So that's pretty exciting. That's the first full wall, back wall in. A little tricky building it, but we got it done. That already smells so much better down here.
It smells like wood.
Yeah.
This outlet right here, and see that okay, Rachel?
Yeah.
This board needs to come over like a 1/2 inch farther, so I'm going to see if it's just a screw holding in this outlet box, and I can shift it over. Killed power. I don't want to have to undo this whole thing, but if it's easy, not too easy.
No.
I think it'll be fine the way it is. This one we have to block it out to come over a little bit because this basement jack's kind of in the way, so. Ready for the next one?
Yep. Last one. You're on film.
Did you see I did that in the video yesterday?
No.
Part 2, and I whacked my head right on that up there. Push that back behind.
Ready? I'm gonna let go. Okay, start. There you go. Ooh, looky. Nice, very nice. That's pretty good.
Going horror or her?
Yeah.
You check it level from that side to side. Which way?
I don't know.
You don't know. It's probably the top's gotta come off. All good still?
Yep.
So this will probably be our last piece for today. But before we go, we'll show you a big. We didn't really explain tons along the way, so we'll give you an overview of what we did accomplish
And why?
and why before we go. So
I thought I'd tell you guys the reason that I kept the window open. You might be wondering why, because I will lose a little bit of shelving space, but Todd's gonna put me a big shelf right here, and this will be some big storage. And I am going to hang a cute curtain, and this is where I'm gonna put like that antique canner that I have and some of my cute antique jars. And it's just gonna be a happy place in my pantry.
So this is like the main attachment point for everything, is to these floor rafters or joists, I guess you would call them. This wood, this is like the original wood from when our house was built, and that stuff is so hard. I wanted to move this, but it was going to be too much of a pain, and it still fit and worked out anyways. The reason behind this panel here, we talked a little bit about it earlier. All this stuff that our walls are coated with, it just crumbles and crumbles and crumbles. And it would basically just fall on Rachel's jars. So there's some pieces that appear loose right now, but there's going to be another piece of wood that goes across here to build a shelf right here. And once that's done, this back panel right here will attach things down at the bottom. This is the pressure treated wood that we wanted to keep the whole thing up off the floor for moisture reasons. I didn't cut them long enough. Well, I didn't buy enough. So they ended up being too short. So I had to cut them and shift them around. The bottom is basically kind of floating right now. Like this whole piece moves. But once the cross pieces are in for the actual shelves to sit on, it's going to lock everything in place and it's not going to go anywhere. So it might seem kind of weird right now, the way that things are constructed, but like I said, once the shelves are in, it's going to really hold it together and it should be really strong. I need to wear my hard hat. Spacing wise, everything from back out to the front is 24 inches. On all three sections, they were designed to be right around 48 inches wide, which means we can take a 4x8 sheet of plywood and get 4 shelves out of it. I might have to trim it down a little bit because not all of them are exactly 48, but it should be pretty close. That's it for today. We'll see you guys on part 3, if not something else sooner.